My name is Derek Williams. I am the founder and owner of Group Innovation and Diversity Training Associates, a multidiscipline consulting and training company, and also a contributor to the African American Network Caregiving Series. And we are delighted to be here again. We know you had options, but you chose to tune in on us. We're very fortunate today in our continuing storytelling and interviewing of caregivers, a topic that is very dear and near to all of us. We feel that this particular task is one that is inherently about who we are, taking care of loved ones, taking care of community members, and of course, the most important thing in order for us to be effective caregivers, taking care of ourselves. And so we, again, today have an opportunity to talk with not only a contributor to the African American Network, but an individual that has been very instrumental in many of the programs here on the network. So we first met Mr. Vance on this topic quite a few months ago, and he was one of our first interviewees. And of course, as a caregiver, a very daunting task, one that he expressed quite openly. There's a lot of surprises. We don't always ask for the roles that we get, but they are necessitated by our love and care for our loved ones. And so, without any further ado, we're going to ask Mr. Vance to share with us a little bit more about his journey, since he's kind of got his feet wet, so to speak, in taking care of two wonderful, lovely people who took care of him, Mom and Dad. And so, Vance, again, welcome. It's a delight to see you again.
Yes, sir, Mr. Williams. It's always a pleasure seeing you, man. It's always.
Well,
always.
Thank you.
Yes,
Thank
sir.
You. Yeah,
yes,
like
sir.
I said, it's always good to be seen. And
Yep.
you look well as well.
Well, I'm trying. I'm striving. Yes, sir.
Well,
yes,
striving to survive, right?
Yeah, yes, sir.
Well, that term, striving to survive, I think speaks to the reality that sometimes we look good on the outside, but we're not always feeling good on the inside. Okay, and since we can't dictate what tomorrow looks like,
Right.
I think it's an adequate question to ask you to kind of bring us up to snuff. I know when I first interviewed you, Mr. Vance, you were very open and candid about your role. You recognized that, hey, it's sometimes an uphill in learning all of the responsibilities and things that are part of this caregiving role. And I'm not saying that you expressed any doubt, but bewilderment, not having all the information that you needed. And of course, as a son, that would definitely be a topic that you would have concern about. And so let's relax and
All right.
kind of open it up and tell us, how are things going, Mr. Vance?
Okay. Well, Mr. Williams, like you said, at first it was my first go at it, being a caregiver, and dropped into the role where, I had to do a lot of things, a lot of changing quickly. Okay. So now, like I say, it's been some months, and the thing about it is it's a everyday journey.
All right.
It's an everyday journey. And each day can bring, some could be the same, but each day there's a different for us, for me anyway, and then working with, I got both my parents, and it's the thing too, Mr. Williams, a lot of times, I may put them on Facebook, for their anniversary or birthdays and stuff like this, and a lot of my friends hit them up, and that keeps them going, but I always get the comment, it's a blessing to have both of your parents, and yes, it's definitely a blessing. But you also know that there's always the other side to it.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So it's like, and the thing about it is getting that balance.
Yeah.
Finding that balance. I think one thing that I see now for the time that we, from the first time, is my dad, man. I call him a 7-star. 7-star general.
7-star.
7-star, because there's no 7-star generals. There's no 7 stars. But
for Dad,
for
you had
Dad,
to
he's
put
a
the extra
7-star.
couple stars in there. All right.
For one, to me, that's just me.
Sure.
Yeah, there's no one. Everybody, you would say, down the road, you meet somebody and say, "Oh, God broke the mold on you." You know what I mean?
All right.
Yeah, my dad is something else, and I say that because as a father and as a provider, he provided for me to where. I didn't know, worries or I didn't know if there was a situation or nothing. They kept me.
Took care of your needs.
Yes, and I had a great childhood, So when you're doing that and coming up, and now I get a chance to really, not really know my dad because he's 94. So there's a lot of things,
Wow.
even in communication that we can't do, but. With my mom there, and she can tell me some stories about him, and I could just, see Mr. Williams, and I really getting a in depth of him, and like yourself, and I look at my dad, that era y'all coming up, man, y'all different. You're different. I mean, I'm just gonna say it. I mean, there's some blood running through y'all, and I'm saying our past. For me, my elders and my ancestors, there's a they had that saying, they're not like us. Well, hey. And
I appreciate you sharing that. I mean,
man.
we stand on the shoulders of those who come before us, and of course, our cultural upbringing, while there's similarities, there are a lot of differences, And your father is, again, how old? 90?
He's 94.
Okay, 94.
Mm-hmm.
I'm within that cultural span.
Yeah,
and I think the good thing about that is it speaks to the progressiveness of each generation, okay, and the conditions that were present during our heyday, as we've kind of used the term as the young generation.
Yeah.
There were different implementations. There were different forces at work, okay, and so I think that's a legitimate observation that there are differences, and you pointed out that the 7-star general there, which speaks to his military background.
Yes, sir.
Very regimented.
Yes, sir.
He's seen things that most people haven't seen, and he's probably been required to do things that most people haven't been required to do. Okay, and so all of that goes into the acculturation process. And, while we want our children to have similarities, we don't want them to be a facsimile of us. While some of us do show a lot of similarities, we are very different.
Yeah.
And those values that they pass on to you, that term being hard-headed and regimented, that comes out of that, that background. So I'm not offended, and I don't think Dad would be offended either.
I'm telling you, because going through this process, so I'm if things progress in a natural sense, okay. Sure. So I'm coming behind them.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? And so I'm looking at myself thinking, well, when I get in that position, where am I going to be?
Okay.
And the thing about it is, and it helps me by when I'm saying that about my dad, is that I can kind of understand.
Yeah.
Why
he did the things that he did.
Come on,
and his justification for certain moral beliefs, and I think that's beautiful, Brother Vance. I think the opportunity to get something out of that caretaking role that you're in, seeing Dad through a different set of lenses.
Yeah, man.
You're very blessed.
Yeah.
To have a bit of longevity with him.
Yeah.
To get to understand him through a different perspective, even though you're in the role as caregiving. So I think that's a very significant observation, and I appreciate you sharing that Tell us a little bit about that relationship with Mom. You
Well,
mentioned Mom is there.
Okay, yeah. Mom, me and my mom is very special because we had the same birthday.
Ah,
Yeah, so
wow, the
yeah,
stars were at work there.
yeah. Well, I just tell her sorry that I was your present on that day.
Oh,
But
wow, how unique.
man, man, that was a big one coming out too. But
Okay, all
so
right.
we do have a special bond.
Yes, you do.
You know,
Yes, you do.
and I know my dad be looking at us like I always say that when we have our board meeting, hey Pop, you already out board.
Just like your mama.
They are, so and she's there to because she can communicate more and her memories and everything is there. She can tell me some of the things that my dad was going through.
Sure.
And she could help me with that. And the thing about it is, I can see the progression, but it's like like when I was saying like day to day, certain things, those good days when I know he knows what he's doing, like
Sure.
I feel that.
Sure.
We done had those times where we really bonded as because growing up it's like night and day. My dad was that military guy, that strict regiment,
Disciplinarian.
yeah. And I was just chasing the ball somewhere. I was always out there, you know what I'm saying? And so I would and I always tell I always say that I'm the biggest kid I know. So
right.
yeah, so so they provided that for me. So now it's I can see, it's just me and my dad, the one-on-ones we have, man.
All right.
That first shave, when I was shaving him and,
Right.
man, and
All
then,
right.
I shaved him or something, and then my mom would come in and say, well, get his hair, do his hair,
that's all right.
so those little things that we kind of bonded, and then now I'm learning, even just like transporting him from his, say, wheelchair to the bed or, to another thing, what steps, which side is
right.
better for him,
All right.
and the steps, and then our communications, where you have to, tell him, hey, Dad, we're gonna sit here.
All right.
And so, those moments,
All right.
are special.
So, I wish I could add another hour on to this interview. From what I hear you saying then is that you've learned a lot.
Yeah.
You've learned a lot in the process, and even though it's been painful in some aspects of it, you kind of got a double treat. Even though you're there caring for Dad, you're learning a lot about who this man is.
Yeah.
Okay.
And here, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
I think that in itself is a blessing. Let me ask you, Brother Vance, because I remember our first interview very well. How would you evaluate where you're at? How are you? Are you making time for yourself? How would you assess that, your own personal care?
Well, I think for me, physically, I'm cool. I'm good.
Okay.
It's more mental for
More
me.
mental than anything else.
Anything else is more, and the thing about it, in my times of being in church, the pastor, I'll never forget Pastor Starks. And he said that, no man can get you into heaven.
All right.
You have to build a personal relationship with God.
All right.
So that stuck with me, man. So it's a everyday, and most people say, "Yeah, I talk to God." I talk to Him every day, and on a personal.
Oh, that's wonderful.
Yeah. So with that, man, I've seen a lot of when you test your patience, and just knowing that the sacrifice they made. Because I think I'm making a sacrifice.
Absolutely.
I come off the road with one of the top.
You certainly are.
Top entertainers to sit, but it's nothing to what when I look at it, to what they did, So.
Well, it sounds like it. Based on what you just shared, it sounds like you have cultivated a closer relationship with your God, It sounds like you're using your spiritual connection to get you through some of the more difficult times, which is very important in the care giving activities, to either have some kind of superordinate belief, a spiritual commitment to get us through those difficult times. And it sounds like I'm hearing you say, hey, you've developed a new relationship, and that is what has been able to get you through the tough times, the difficult times.
And I'm saying, and I'm working on it every day, and and then there's just a lot of things that I've said, because all I was doing is running most of my life. Sure. Now I can just see some of the things that they did, that they put in place. Now it's even
all right.
So it's but let me tell you something though.
Please.
The thing with my dad, I'm 6'2". My dad's like 5'9". My dad got what we call, back, what they say, the good hair, like you, Mr. Williams, the good hair. and so I'm looking at some of these traits that my dad has, and I'm thinking, okay, is that something y'all need to tell me? I'm just, playing and teasing, man. But there's one thing I know he didn't give me, I think his blood. And when I say that what makes him, who he is. And the way he had to be, and I'm starting to understand that. He come a long way and did very well for themselves. Did very well. So, and I want him to know that, and in trying to get him to relax and enjoy this, man. I say, hey, man, you could ride to the sunset. You done did it all.
Yeah.
But, there's certain things, like I said, that one thing where he's still determined to do certain things on his own.
Sure. In spite of the condition.
In spite of it.
There's some things that just rooted in who he is.
You know what I mean?
And it comes through.
That's what I mean. That's when I like our answers, like it had to be that same thing in the like the Harriet Tubmans, the ones that go through, man, them hardships, man, then being without education and coming through and prevailing, and man, it's
wow.
But you look at the now generation, like what I'm saying, I don't know.
I don't Brother know. Vance, it sounds to me that you've the analogies that you're using, I mean, to even evoke Harriet Tubman and to see your father in a role of his courageousness and who he is. And by the way, we'll do another show on the good hair, bad hair. Okay, good hair is well groomed hair. Okay, but I think it's very significant that you are relating to him in that manner. You're seeing things. I'd like to get you back here another time. I was telling Ms. Thompson that I think it's a good idea to revisit our interviewees and to see where are they at on this ladder of progression, you know. And I am delighted to hear that you're taking care of yourself, that you've developed this additional role from a spiritual standpoint. I think that's very important for the caregivers to have a superordinate, like I said, connection, because sometimes it can be rough, okay? And I'm just proud to hear that you've developed and cultivated that special relationship with Dad and Mom. Mom coming in and giving you some explanation about, well, this is what's going on with Dad.
Yes.
And I think the blessing is the role that you are playing. And I think that you're going to continue to benefit from that relationship. And for all of those caregivers out there, I want you to listen to what Brother Vance is saying, and it's not always easy, and we recognize that it's not always easy. And that's one reason why the African American Network decided to embark on this provocative and so true of a topic that touches all of our lives at some time or another.
I'm so glad that you and I know Dr. Batts is not here today, but that y'all has taken this, man, and you make it so smooth and interesting, and you know.
Well. We thank you very much. And with interviews like yours, you help us to see the reality of the situation as well. Hey, y'all, we want you to continue watching us, and we're going to continue to bring you the best that we can do. Thank you, and adios. And don't worry about that good hair, bad hair stuff.